One day when I came to work last fall, I had an email in my inbox from a student from Boswell High School. Her name was Melanie. Now, Melanie was in one of our previous teen life groups with one of our great facilitators, Bradley Onderley. And she said this group changed her life. It changed how she was looking at things. It changed a lot of things about her. And she wanted this for her friends because she felt like Boswell High School needed more groups. But they needed more volunteers. So she took it upon herself to bring her best friend in the situation and her best friend's mom, Giselle and Navi. Because of Melanie's urge to get the campus the support they need, the ripple effect at Boswell continues to this day. This is their story.
I've been best friends with Melanie since sophomore year, and she would tell me how she's like in a bad place. She would just say how sometimes she feels like a lot of depression and anxiety because like high school can be very stressful, so the workload plus with school drama and stuff, if you have problems with friends and then it becomes a whole thing, it takes a toll on like students' mental health.
Hi, my name is Melanie and I'm a senior here at Boswell. 2 years ago I had my first teen life group with Bradley. Before teen life, work in school was honestly really challenging for me. I was going through a lot emotionally and mentally. I didn't really have a support system at home to help me out, which is the reason why I reached out to the counselors, because I was kind of like in a desperate state of mind. I was struggling almost like every day. Every single day I came to school like looking not the best. You know, I had a big old hoodie on and sweatpants because I didn't have any motivation to get up and get ready.
I think what made me want to lead a teen life group was I guess just an observation that there is a need for students or young people in the world today. And I think I often would see the next generation and think that, you know, there's something missing, or they're struggling, or they're off the mark or something. And then there's the social media aspect, how that impacts people's lives and creates expectations that we're all trying to live up to, young people especially. So as they try to figure out how to live in that world, and I just wanted to try to connect with them and help them understand that they can find that meaning in life outside of the expectation that the world puts on them.
Some people don't want therapy, but there are people that do, but they don't really have access to therapy. Like maybe they can't afford it, or their parents don't want them to go to therapy, and so they don't really have anybody to truly help them. Like everything just keeps piling on them.
So originally I went to the counselors because I needed help. Like I said before, I didn't really have a support system at home, and I was just really desperate to try to get help somewhere. And so I went to my counselor and I asked her, hey, do you know of any resources to help me? Because I'm just so desperate, like I need help. She was like, yeah, actually we have a program at Boswell called Teen Life. And at first I was kind of hesitant because I had never really talked to anyone about my feelings except like my friends and stuff.
We can have the tendency going into a group to want to make an impact and think that we have to make it all happen. Again, just showing up and giving them the chance to invest in one another creates the opportunity for their lives to be changed.
My first impression of teen life was honestly very optimistic. And as the group started to go by, I realized that, hey, this is a safe space for me to say like what I need to. And I remember my group leader, he kept telling us that the big thing was, he told me that we're not gonna tell your parents what you say. We're gonna make sure everything in this room stays in this room, and that you have a safe environment and you feel like you're worthy and you're enough. And that meant the world to me because I didn't feel like that at home. I didn't feel like that at school, anywhere, unless my friends were telling me. And in that moment I kind of realized, hey, you know, there's no need to be hesitant. There's no need to feel secluded and feel like as if you need to put on a mask and not tell them what you're feeling, because ultimately even the girls in the group, they would just listen, and listening can mean so much. If I could give my past self advice before the teen life group, I would tell myself to just hold on, and that it's gonna be okay, and that even though it doesn't seem like it, even though you're wanting to possibly end your life right now, don't do it. There's so many things ahead of you. You're gonna wanna end up doing, sorry. Sorry.
You're fine.
you're gonna end up loving yourself. And sorry. Thank you. Okay. I would tell myself that it's gonna be okay and that you're gonna get better. You're gonna end up loving yourself, and that just hold on. Like, even though the path is really rocky right now, you feel like as if you're about to fall apart, I promise you that you're not, and that you're gonna meet people, you're gonna end up doing wonderful things in life. Even though it's hard right now, just stick together. I know there's not much that can be done right now, but at the end of the road, at the end of the path, it's gonna be so worth it. Just hold together.
You know, one reality with doing something like leading a group like this is you don't often get to see how it impacts somebody's life. And you know, you have to go into it with that understanding. When Tobin reached out and let me know that there was a student that reported that being in a group with me really did impact their lives in a significant way, it was just a great opportunity, right, to get to know and to see what came out of the time leading those groups. I went into it being prepared and knowing that, believing that it was a good investment, even without seeing it, and yet it was a special blessing, a gift to get to know that a group that I led had that kind of impact in that student's life, but also maybe could impact the school in even a greater way. I think it's also really cool that to see the student then begin to campaign for, to work for, and try to recruit more people to lead groups on campus. That, you know, that's an impact that I never imagined would come out of leading a group.
How was that conversation with your mom? What do you remember saying to your mom about trying to convince her to become a team life facilitator?
So I was
So she can be honest.
No, that's great.
I was telling her what it was about, basically, and then I was like, Melanie thinks it'd be really cool if you joined, because we don't have anybody at Bos right now, and I think it'd be cool if you joined too, since you're like a mental health professional, and it'd be my mom. Like, I could be like, that's my mom.
So my name is Navajo Hughes. I go by Navi. I'm a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. It's a fancy word for a mental health provider. Giselle got me really excited about helping other kids that didn't have mental health care access. So she asked me weekly to volunteer. I was very busy becoming a new provider. So I did the training, I met with the people, and I fell in love with it and its purpose. Kids need a safe place where they can just be themselves, they can just be without judgment. So just being that solid rock for these kids, they'll remember that even as they get older. You can instill values in them even when they're not at their best, and they will remember those values. They will remember that somebody believed in them.
The program is created, it's put together, it's made so that when you get those kids in the room, they have the opportunity to create a group and for their lives to be changed, and give them the chance to change their life. And just showing up, being there, leading the discussion, that's enough.
The one big thing that really changed up about me after the group was actually having motivation to do things again. I didn't even have motivation to like put on a nice shirt. So having the motivation to actually do my homework and look nice and eventually even get a job, to me just meant the world, because at that time, like I said, I was so unmotivated that I didn't even care about what happened to my life. And so now I care. Now I'm wanting to go to college. I'm getting literature recommendation. I'm doing all these things to help my student council and help my fellow peers. And to me, that just means so much, because now I feel like I actually have like a life worth living. And so yeah.